Hello and welcome into the Sporting Jacks Report. Along with Mauricio Ruiz, I'm Cole Pepper. Coming up, a closer look at the USL Super League as the women get set to kick off the league next month. Plus, how some high school soccer stars are learning from their college counterparts. But let's start with the big matchup in Jacksonville this weekend. On Saturday at EverBank Stadium, we have a chance to watch two Premier League teams face off against one another here in Jacksonville for the first time. Wolves and West Ham will play as part of the Stateside Cup. It's a three-city preseason tournament, which also includes Crystal Palace with games in Tampa and Annapolis as well. You can find a link to buy tickets on sportingjacks.com. Mauricio, we've been talking about this game for the last several months. What a great chance for soccer fans in our area. What are you going to be watching for in particular in this game?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are two teams that finished kind of mid-table last year, and they both had aspirations to kind of get into now that top eight, that big eight. It's crazy that in the EPL is a big eight. So I think they're going to throw caution to the wind a little bit. They're going to entertain the crowd. They know that coming overseas here, it's a bit of a popularity drive as well. They want to make sure that they're branded and marketing correctly, but their main products make sure that they're preparing for the season. So we'll see a little bit of that, but certainly a lot of entertainment.
Yeah, and before the game, we're holding a youth clinic inside the Flex Field. Wolves and West Ham personnel, as well as local college and youth coaches, will be there coaching up kids age 4 to 18. The cost of the clinic includes a ticket to the match. That'll be a great opportunity for families with kids who love the game of soccer.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at that facility, we're going to pack that with 50-plus kids. Some of the Wolves and West Ham, legends are going to come out and support us. Some local coaches. Just a great opportunity for kids to come out before the match.
Well, let's take a look at the details for the clinic. You see there for ages 4 to 18, $65. The cost of the clinic does include a match ticket, as I mentioned. For friends and family joining, tickets to the game are available for $55. Just go to the events tab on sportingjacks.com for more information. It's time now for our Island Wing Game of the Week. Two of the best in the West met as the Oakland Roots hosted Sacramento Republic in the Bay Area. Here we go. And it was quite a matchup with two teams that came in tied for second in the West. Oakland had won 2 of their last 3 to climb into a second-place tie. This one nationally broadcast on CBS. The Republic got it going early. 5 minutes off a bad giveaway. Sacramento off to the races. Kieran Phillips the goal. 1-0 Sacramento. It doesn't get much easier than that.
Yeah, really nice goal from Phillips, Cole, but really poor defending from Oakland off of the turnover, just untouched. Phillips going into the box untouched, as you kind of see it here, and just Hackshaw giving way too much time and space to get a shot off. Doesn't get great contact on the ball, takes the speed off of it, and beats the goalkeeper.
Now 27th minute, watch this execution on the set piece from Sacramento. Jared Timmer the header, and Shane White scores it to make it a 2-0 Republic lead.
Well, I'll tell you what, whoever is their set-piece coach will be very happy. Just how they drew it up. They rehearsed it in the training pitch for players to execute it as cleanly as you can see. This ball that comes across, you can see they shielded off the player. I mean, there are so many good elements to the set-piece.
All right, Sacramento not done. Off another takeaway. Jack Gurr takes it, sends it ahead to Christian Pirano, who sets up Nick Ross beautifully right there. Look at that pass. And the goal, 3-0 before halftime.
Yeah, and Pirano was just baiting the defender, slowly taking and waiting for Nick Ross to make that run. But once again, you're going to see here on the highlights, just Hackshaw, the defender here, just way too much time. Someone like Pirano can pick out a pass, hold a great, lovely run, and a great finish.
Well, the second half didn't slow down the Republic. Everything seemed to be going Sacramento's way. Jack Gurr collects it, sends it across. The ball would find Phillips once again after it found all the way through the top of the 6-yard box. Phillips, his second goal of the match. 4-0 Sacramento.
Yeah, really tough bounce. You can see here in the replay right there. Riley tries to clear a tough bounce on that turf, and everything's going the right way for Sacramento.
And Oakland finally got it going, and again, it was a giveaway that started things. Guillermo Diaz with the cross. He has the opportunity here. Diaz the cross, and Johnny Rodriguez patiently waits for it and delivers it. Oakland on the board, 4-1.
Yeah, impatiently is right. Somehow, Oakland's still in the game.
And then a big moment for Oakland. Justin Rasmussen with the heads-up, long pass ahead, and Rodriguez chips the goalkeeper to make it 4-2, and suddenly Oakland has some momentum.
Somehow, lovely ball over the top to beat Sacramento's last line, and Rodriguez sees the goalkeeper off the line and just gets caught in between and just chips him right over.
And things look like they might be going back to the home team's way until the 85th minute when Sacramento closes the door. Nick Ross to Trevor Ammon. And Ammon, who led USL League One in goals last year, scores his 9th for Sacramento this year. 5-2 the final. What a match out west.
Tell you what, Cole, Trevor Emmett, he came off the bench in this game, but what a finisher. He's just a natural finisher. You're going to see here towards the end, yeah, I mean, Oakland sent a lot of players forward, so it seems really open, but what a calm and collected finish. He gets the ball here, defenders crashing down on him, takes his time, and just lost it away.
All right, let's take a look at some of the other scores from around the USL Championship. You notice Phoenix Rising getting the home victory. That was big for them. Tampa Bay Rowdies continue to get it done. 2-0 over Indy 11, a team that's been red hot and playing into the semifinals of the U.S. Open Cup.
Yeah, and that's a huge win for Tampa Bay against the India team that's been really strong lately. And Battery, see the top, middle to the top of your screen, just back on its winning ways. I think they're on about 4 to 5 game winning streak at the time.
All right, let's take a look at the standings starting out west, where New Mexico United continues to lead. The red line is the playoff line. Teams 1 through 8 in each conference will make the playoffs. We are a little more than halfway through the season now. You see Monterey Bay has just a little bit of daylight right now with Phoenix rising to within 2 points.
Yeah, there's a lot of, you're going to see a lot of competition in that 7 to 10 line. Tulsa got a win this past weekend. A couple more, they can kind of get themselves over the red line. You're going to see a lot of competition, a lot of parity in the league, really from top to bottom.
Let's look at the East now with Louisville City on top on 41 points. Just 1 point lead on Charleston Battery. Battery have not lost in their last 5. Same could be said for Rhode Island. 4 wins and a draw in their last 5 for Rhode Island to get up to the 8th spot.
Yeah, huge win for Rhode Island. We keep talking about they keep tying games. They never really get enough points to get ahead, but they got a big one this weekend to get them into the 8th place. And be careful, watch them climb.
All right, well, this week on Mauricio's Corner, we're taking a look at one of the most consistent clubs in the USL Championship. Louisville City has made the conference finals or better each of the past 5 seasons while averaging over 10,000 fans per game. And Mal, they have a style of play that they are very good at implementing.
They're very good, Cole, and they're not just good on the field, they're good off the field. They really run a really good organization in general. Coach Denny Cruz came off the field for them, turned into the sideline and become a coach who's kind of one of their own. James O'Connor, their sporting director, they just do a really good job from bottom to top, and that's why they're one of the most consistent teams in the league.
Let's take a closer look at what you see out of Louisville City. Again, 3 at the back, including Ordonez as the center back, who last year was the defender of the year in the USL Championship.
Yeah, they were able to poach Ordonez from Pittsburgh, which had a really good year last year. They're struggling this year, but with the back 3, Cole, it's really difficult to defend against it. You go 3-3 against them, but with their players, with Laz as a goalkeeper, Spanish goalkeeper, really technical on the ball, and then we can lead the front with Wilson Harris. There's probably no one hotter in the league than this young man right now.
Yeah, he got up to a blazing start at the beginning of the season, and you want to show a little bit about what they do and how they do it. But look at the setting here in Louisville. Great looking stadium, and again, they pack it out almost every time.
They really do, and I think that's the division that we have for Sporting Jacks here in Jacksonville for our fans to create an atmosphere in a facility just like this. But looking at Louisville, see that back 3 really clear, nice wide wing backs, but a lot of support centrally. When you stretch a team that wide, Cole, and you have so many options, this is what happens. You create space in between the lines, and you have a player like Avila that can kind of come in and get the ball. But the biggest thing that they do is when they get into the attack, if you look at the purple jerseys, look how many players they get. When the ball gets into the final third, they get players. You're going to see this consistent trend from them.
Yeah, and a lot of goals coming from that as well. We mentioned Lou City, 25 goal differential of plus 25, best in the league this year.
Once again, and this is why the ball gets into the final third, they get players into the attack, players crash on the last line, and they get second chance options. Continue, the ball goes in, comes back in, they got numbers in the attack, and they get the second chance. But they're not just a team of just possession. If they can get the ball forward, a little more direct, Harris is a really good runner, and once again, look how many purple jerseys are in the attack.
And that's one of the reasons why they're atop the standings in the USL's Eastern Conference this year, and one of the favorites to go back to perhaps the finals and try to win the USL Championship here this year. Well, we are less than a month away from kickoff of the USL Super League, the first division women's soccer league that Sporting Jacks will be joining in the future. There have been some key player signings that are telling us an awful lot about who teams are building their rosters and how they are building those rosters. Let's start with a Dallas signing. England international Chioma Ubagagu. She has international experience with the U.S. U23s as well. She was playing for Tottenham in her last club. That's a significant signing. Fort Lauderdale added forward Shania Gordon, who was playing in the French First Division. She's Florida-born and coming back home. And Tampa Bay added former Florida Gator goalkeeper Kaylin Marquesi, who had been at Arsenal and Bristol City. Now the momentum is really rolling for the USL Super League right now.
This is exciting, right? We keep hearing about the Super League. It was going to come. Now it's here. It's about to start in less than a month. And now seeing the faces that are going to compose those teams, that's the most exciting part. We actually get to see the players they're going to start training. Preseason is ongoing right now. And hear the signings and how they're going to come together and actually form their teams. For these young ladies, what an opportunity to create more chances for them to play the game that they love.
Well, let's take a look at the opening schedule for kickoff weekend in the USL Super League. You've got Carolina Ascent hosting DC Power at 7 o'clock on Saturday, August the 17th. Spokane Zephyr FC hosts Fort Lauderdale United at 9 p.m. And then on Sunday, August the 18th, it's the inaugural match for Tampa Bay Sun as they host Dallas Trinity at 6:30. All these matches streamed on Peacock, and we know this is a major milestone in this sport.
It is. It's one of the biggest things that women's soccer in this country. We already have another good league going on. There's an additional, we're going to double in size in a couple of years. We're going to be joined here in Sporting Jacks, just creating more opportunities for young ladies to play the game, coaches to coach the game, executives to work in the game. This is going to be in one of the most, we're going to look back in 10 years, Cole, as this time, August of 2024, the inaugural season Super League, as one of the most transformational times for women's sport in this country.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, coming up, we'll hear from Becky Burleigh and get her thoughts on the upcoming launch of the USL Super League and what it will mean to women's soccer. Remember, you can become a member of Sporting Jacks. It's absolutely free. Just go to sportingjacks.com. You get discounts on club merchandise, invitations to VIP events, entries into contests for prizes and experiences, and receive the Sporting Jacks newsletter. Plus, you can put your deposits down for season tickets for the Sporting Jacks men's and women's teams and receive an exclusive Sporting Jacks founding member pin. Just go to sportingjacks.com to become a member. More to come right after this. The USL national broadcast schedule continues on Friday as CBS Sports Network brings you the Colorado Springs Switchbacks taking on the red-hot Las Vegas Lights at 9 p.m. Then next Wednesday, it's Hartford Athletic hosting Detroit City FC at 7:30 on CBS Sports Network. August 3rd, the USL is on ESPN2. Sacramento Republic against the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, kickoff at 10 p.m. We now welcome in Becky Burleigh, and boy, here we are. The countdown continues, Becky. Less than a month ago before the USL Championship gets going. One of the things we've been talking about really is seeing the first player come in on a domestic loan. Last week, Kansas City Current of NWSL loaned midfielder Sophie Braun to Spokane through the end of the NWSL season. So what does this tell you about the way these two leagues are operating right now?
Well, I think one of the things it tells me is when you talk about those signings that you guys just discussed, those players that are coming back from really high-level teams, that's a huge step in the right direction. But I think the second part of that is when an NWSL team loans a player to the USL, it gives the opportunity for this player to experience the USL environment firsthand. And I think that's kind of like a on-the-job interview. It's awesome.
Well, Becky, the NWSL teams have been playing together for a while now. There's a lot of history in their rosters. As we're building a Super League, how long do you think it's going to take until the product of the Super League on the field looks what we want it to look like, a high-level, Tier 1 level football?
Well, you know, it's really good reference to the three signings that you guys just talked about. Those are good signings, players that are playing at a high level in Europe, and they're getting to come home. So that's already a huge step in the right direction. Now I think it's just a matter of time for the USL to attract the same type of player as the NWSL.
It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, especially once we get to that December break, that mid-season break, to see if there's more player movement coming toward the USL Super League. Let's shift our focus now to the Olympics. The United States women's national team beat Mexico 1-0, drew with Costa Rica 0-0 in the warm-up friendlies. Is the one goal scored in the tune-up to the Olympics a worry for you at all?
You know, you could look at that two ways, I think. You could look at that as, wow, lots of opportunities, not a lot of production. Or you could look at it as they're getting themselves into great spots, they're creating the opportunities, and will the finishing come? And I know that's still a question, but for me, I think I'm just an optimist in terms of when you create those chances, things are going to happen.
You know, thinking about the Olympics and the impact that professional soccer in this country can have on the national team, the open question now is what kind of an impact will the Super League have on the development of players, the next level of players who will represent the country in the Olympics and the World Cup and so forth? Where is that going to stand?
You know, here's what I think about that. When all the pro leagues that have ever had it in the U.S., they have started with players coming into those leagues and then getting the attention of the national team. So for me, the more opportunities you have, the more opportunities there are for people to be in that national team group or vision. And so I think it's kind of exciting that USL players now have another opportunity, another way to get in front of those people.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's going to be something to watch as the months progress. Becky, thanks so much. We'll talk to you again next time.
Sounds great.
Becky Burleigh joining us here. And of course, it's not too early to become a season ticket member of Sporting Jacks. Just go to sportingjacks.com, put your deposit down. $25 reserves your space for the men's or the women's team. And if you want to reserve for both, it's just $40. Just go to sportingjacks.com to save your seat for pro soccer in Jacksonville. Still to come, our youth soccer spotlight falls on an academy run by the most accomplished high school coach in the area. That's next as the Sporting Jacks report rolls on. Sporting Jacks will be unveiling the official kit in the months to come, but already you can get your own Sporting Jacks official merchandise, from t-shirts and hats to sweatshirts and, of course, the scarf. You can find Sporting Jacks official merchandise at sportingjacks.com, at our official team store on Phillips Highway, and at We Got Soccer. It's time now for our youth soccer spotlight, brought to you by the Bearded Pig Barbecue. And today we head to St. John's Country Day, where the North Florida Soccer Academy operates under the direction of Mike Pickett. Pickett has won 14 state championships at St. John's Country Day, but he also runs the academy that helps develop high school and college soccer players. Right now, high school players get a chance to train along with college athletes, which gives the young kids a great chance to learn about the next level of soccer.
When you can see the picture of where you're trying to get to, it's a much more achievable goal, because you are seeing kids who are actually in the college level. They can speak to them. We have the college girls talk to them about things that they can expect to see that they weren't prepared for, maybe something that shocked them. We try to touch on everything, but every program is different, so it's interesting to hear their feedback towards the younger kids. And so for our younger kids, it's a home run. And so we want them to watch as much soccer. We just had 62 games on between Copa and the Euros. And every day we talked about, here's the schedule. Make sure you watch. Send it in our group chat. Send notes in the group chat. Pick someone out. Tell us what they did well. What did they do that you thought they could have done better. So we're trying to get them totally engulfed in the sport and understand that if you want to become a really high-level player, you need to watch soccer.
From that standpoint, what kind of an impact do you think it will be to have a pro women's team in town?
I can't wait. I'm excited because it's going to give another wave of kids the opportunity to live the dream. And there's so many good players in America, and kids from our area that I'm hoping will have an opportunity. Great. I hope that our kids get involved. I hope that our city drops the colors of their club, and that we become united, and that we get everybody out there, because it's not about our clubs or my program or anyone else's program. This is about our city, and we've tried it so many times and failed because we've had those barriers and those hurdles that we can't seem to get over. It's time for us to put our colors down and put on one color and support this program.
Mauricio, Pickett was named as the best high school women's soccer coach in America. He is so dedicated to his players into the game. You can really hear it come through in his comments.
You really can, and that's why he's been dedicated, because he's always put player development first, not just play as far as what they do on the ball and skills physically, but the person inside and behind the player, and the family behind it as well. They want to make sure that they have a good foundation, a structure, which is he takes care of the players develop, they do well, they kind of come back and they reinvest into the next generation, as he talked about, college players coming back and reinvesting in his youth players that are kind of training now. And there's a second thing that he said there, just the amount of good players in the country and in his region. We have so many good players, his daughter Carson Pickett being one of them, accomplished player on her own, but there's so many good players in his region, having his opportunities, youth, college, and now pro, it really kind of connects the dots for someone like Mike.
You mentioned Carson having played for the U.S. national team as well as playing professionally, and a real inspirational player as well with everything she does. So that whole family is a soccer family. Of course, her mom played college basketball, so they had to figure out which sport she was gonna. They are competitors, no doubt about it. Hey, our radio show every Monday night, the Sporting Jacks Soccer Hour, 6 p.m. on 1010XL AM. And coming up in a couple of weeks, we'll be shifting to a Tuesday show, so be on the lookout for that as the pro football season begins. We'll be moving over to Tuesday on 1010 AM. and always on 1010XL.com. Still to come, a look ahead to the big month of August. That's going to be a busy one. That's straight ahead as the Sporting Jacks report continues right after this. You can watch the Sporting Jacks report every Wednesday at noon on ABC 25 with re-airing Saturdays on ABC 25 and on demand at First Coast News Plus. And one programming reminder, we will not be on the air during the first 2 weeks of the Olympics with coverage here on First Coast News. For the next couple of weeks after this, we'll be taking a hiatus. But when we return, we'll be airing at 12:30 on Wednesday on ABC 25. So mark your calendar for that on August the 14th. And congratulations to send out today to the North Carolina Courage, who won the USL League title over the weekend. Mauricio, this is a big accomplishment for a team that is connected with a USL Super League club as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I wonder if their roster had a little bit of that mentality behind it, where they're recruiting young players that they eventually want to see promoted to their top player. And if that's the case, they're going to be able to get a lot of really high talented players. But once again, I keep talking about fast forward into next year when we want to launch our the Super League. Our W League team should be a representation of some local young players that have the aspirations to play for our first team.
Yeah, no doubt about that. All right, a reminder as well, you can follow us on social media on all of the platforms with Facebook and Twitter or X, Instagram, TikTok, and of course our YouTube channel is a great place to see this show if you miss it throughout the course of the week, as well as our weekly podcast and our weekly radio show. We are looking forward to our return after the Olympics right here to the Sporting Jacks Report. We look forward to joining you then as well. For Mauricio Ruiz and Becky Burleigh, I'm Cole Pepper. Thanks for watching the Sporting Jacks Report.